Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're not.
there
You have
go.
to redo that whole thing there because like it's not going live.
Well, I think it is now. Check now.
Well, I'm hitting refresh.
I literally just pressed.
Okay, there we go.
That's funny. We're finally live.
We're finally live.
There we are. Now we're really live. Here we go.
Gotta iron out the kinks a little bit here, So
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Fantastic.
That was hilarious.
Here we are. We're figuring it out.
Okay.
All right, I give us the intro again, James, and then we'll go to Kyle, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Intro it is. Welcome once again to the Bolt Bros here. We're obviously a podcast based upon the Los Angeles Chargers and their opponents. So My name's James. I'm one of the Bolt Bros here. I'm here with my actual two bros, Kyle and Andy.
Hey.
So let's get it, guys. Bolt Bros. Let's go.
Bolt Bros.
Let's go.
Woo!
Nice.
We should have our little intro.
I'll figure that one out.
Yeah, and guys, we are actually 100% live. So if anybody, has questions or anything as we're going, throw them out there in the chat, right? So, Kyle's got a few announcements, but let's get into it for sure.
Yeah. So, I just had a little bit of a trial run when I was just talking about all these announcements. So, so if you guys are Chargers fans, anyone out there in the world, you guys should show up 100%. The next event that's coming out on July 10th. It's Sunday out in Mission Bay, San Diego. It's going to start at 11 o'clock in the morning. DJ Phobic, there's going to be music there. It's going to be a massive potluck. Bring food, bring your drinks, bring whatever you want to do. There's going to be games. Just having a whole bunch of fun times together. And the biggest thing about this thing too is that it's also a charity event. We're encouraging people to show up to bring, the sorry, I was just saw
The backpacks,
Wings
I
of
think, or
Fatness.
something like that too.
Wings of Fatness was said something. I was like,
Oh.
yeah. But yeah, bring backpacks. It's for kids in needs. I believe it's for for school supplies. Maybe you can put some food in there. Obviously non-perishable. But yeah, it's gonna be a really good event. But then also one of the things that we're gonna be talking about a little later on the episode is training camp. And as we all know, that's starting up soon. Can't wait. But on July 30th, there's also going to be a tailgate right before training camp as well. And so people are going to be out there. We're going to have a good time. The Bolt fam's going to show up. And, let's just get that Thunder Alley's back, baby. Let's go.
Whee! And the hype's going to be real at that barbecue, too.
Oh, my gosh, no joke.
Once again, they're going to be with a lot of San Diego Charger fans, which sounds really strange to still say.
Those are the OGs. That's me right here.
That's right.
That's my old Charger.
That's right.
LT.
Yeah, I got my LT jersey here. Let's go. Let's go.
I don't have the old one here. I guess this one technically was at San Diego for a while. So
yeah.
Was there for a bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mike McCoy years, right? Oh boy.
Mike McCoy. Oh, that guy was a buster, dude. That guy was a buster.
What a buster.
Oh man. I like that guy.
Man. But that sounds like a great time out there in San Diego. Great time always to be in San Diego. Great time to go get a California burrito. Because, burritos are the best in San Diego, right?
That's right. It is. That's right.
So, that sounds excellent. Come out, support. That'd be amazing. Kyle, I think, will be out there too, checking it all out. And I think he'll be filming and just kind of interviewing people out there. So, that'd be a real good time.
And Kyle, you got some more content coming out from another barbecue you came out with as well too, correct? When was that one? That was was that a month ago?
That was about a month ago. Well, no, it was this month. It was about in June 4th. But yeah, so I interviewed a bunch of people. Thunder Alley, the Charger Bolt family out there. The guy that actually wears the outfit at SoFi Stadium. He's the unofficial mascot for the team, but that outfit was the outfit for the team, or the mascot for the team from the 90s, like 93 to like 97, I want to say.
Wow.
But then they kind of dropped it. But yeah, like I got that video. It's almost done. I'm gonna release it pretty soon. There's some good stuff in there. I think it'll be really fun for everyone to see that one as well. It'll also hype up the event for July 10th as well. So be there. Yeah, let's bolt up. Let's go. Oh,
bolt up, boys! Bolt up, boys and girls.
It looks like hey, guess what? Hey, we got a question straight up here right now.
Okay.
Yeah, what you got, Aether? Go ahead and just put it out. Yeah.
Yeah, and also in the meantime, I mean, shout out to all the Bolt fan clubs out there, man. It's we love kind of going out there, and it seems like Kyle had a fantastic time at the last event that he went to too. Yep. And it's great to be able to engage fans. I mean, that's the thing why we're doing this podcast too. We love engaging the fans, and we love hearing from the fans. I know for me and us, I mean, I'll just specifically say for myself. I mean, this is one of the craziest off seasons for the Chargers ever.
It's nuts.
Ever.
Absolutely
insane.
Crazy.
But the thing is, though, it's made the off season so much better to be able to sit there and talk about the Chargers. So it doesn't. Yeah. It was, last football was played in February basically, but it felt like it really was a lot shorter. So we do these podcasts with my bros, and then we love engaging other Charger fans to get everybody really excited for the season. And once again, we talked about the training camp. It's a month away basically for us to be able to have training camps open. Rookies are going to be reporting earlier than the vets, but training camp officially starts in about a month. So I can't wait. I'm ready. I am ready for this.
Ready.
If you're a Charger fan, it's a good time to be a Charger fan. I'll tell you that much right now, because we have a competitive team. We have depth at every position. I mean, we're going to go through that today on this podcast. Of course, we're going to go through that. But man, there's just nothing. We don't have holes in this team at all, and there's so many people in every single position that could step up, and you're almost not missing a beat, which is just amazing to me. So, anyways, I'm excited about it. So, I guess we can get into it.
And we do got the question that just popped in too. So Aether, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He basically is talking about, I saw a 53-man projection, a roster projection that they have 4 running backs. I don't like that there is more important position of need. What do you guys think, bros? Hey man, what a great segue into what we're talking about today.
Exactly correct.
Absolutely perfect.
We're like literally going to be talking about the 53-man roster and projections. So,
and we're specifically talking about running backs as well too. So why don't we just start with that then, and we'll go with that thought at this point.
Yeah, let's answer your question right now. So that's pretty crazy. So 53-man roster. I mean, we already started chatting a little bit about kind of how stacked our team is, and that running back position is one of those positions that have a lot of flex there. And 53 people on this team is going to be very difficult to be able to really pin down the true 53, because there is so much talent on there. Yeah. And that article was an interesting one because there was some players that were left out of there that you're like, wait a minute. So there's going to be some tough last minute cuts going with this team.
Yes.
So I know when I was looking at the 53, and actually, ironically, this morning I was watching a highlight reel of Isaiah Spiller, who is obviously a big focus going into this offseason since we drafted him.
Right.
Big time.
Everybody assumes that he's going to be the RB2 for us. Obviously, Austin Eckler is our guy. And but at the same side, you got to love from the mini camp that happened, how he's like, hey, man, come here and challenge me. Like, I want you to take away my job if possible. Like, and I love seeing that. Like, he obviously doesn't want to be unemployed, and he will not be. But the same side, I want these other guys to step it up. So it's like, I know when they come in, they could do my job. And I love to hear stuff like that.
Well, so, and if I'm a coach, though, if I'm Brandon Staley, what I don't want to do, though, is take out Austin Eckler and put in another running back that is not going to get the same amount of production as Austin Eckler.
Right.
So when we say depth, it's that you're not losing a whole lot with putting in maybe an Isaiah Spiller or a Joshua Kelly or a Roundtree. So I think the reason why he had to do so much last year is they had no production from Roundtree or Joshua Kelly, right? It was just not good.
Yeah.
And Gabe Neighbors, he's probably, I don't know. I mean, I know Herbert loves Neighbors, but I tell you what. Now, again, to answer your question, though, I think partially some of these folks are going to play special teams as well, too. Right. Yep. So you can't think of it just as running backs. They also are doing special teams is basically just a conglomeration of defense and offense playing as well too. So yeah, I mean, I think Roundtree played some. I think Kelly played a little bit as well, but Gabe Neighbors was definitely a special teamer as well. So, but it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But you got to also remember, running backs get hurt a lot, and they get a lot of damage, and so carrying 4 running backs might not be a bad thing. But it also boiled down to special teams.
Yeah, and it's interesting because before he came into our show, I was thinking about that. I was like, 4 running backs. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
technically
is what I had
technically
listed.
6 if you have our guy Xander Horvath as well too, because he's technically he's a fullback.
He's a fullback,
Right.
Hey, technically we got 5 running backs. We got Eckler, Kelly, Roundtree, Spiller, Gabe Neighbors.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very, very heavy running back room. Right. And so the thing about it is, and when I look at this set, I think, okay, who are Brandon Staley's guys? And if you start looking at it and start thinking, well, Xander's a guy that was drafted under the Staley regime. Roundtree was a guy under the Staley regime. Eckler was not, but it's obviously he's one of the top running backs in the league.
Right.
So he's not going anywhere. But Isaiah Spiller got picked up. Gabe Neighbors has been pretty efficient for us, and he's actually, I think, roommates with Herbert. So there's kind of a level I don't think he'll get cut, but NFL is a business. But it really makes me think, because once again, going back on our 53-man roster, it's so deep all around.
Every position. Yeah.
That there is going to be somebody, in my opinion, that's going to get cut from this running back, because there's other positions of needs. There's other guys that could be on this team to make a difference. And if I'm going to pin one guy, I'm going to go Joshua Kelly.
I was going to say Kelly. I think Gabe Neighbors might be gone too. I mean, he wasn't much. He didn't produce a whole lot, but that's Herbert's boy, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting conversation. But going back to, I know James threw a question out there, basically talking about Eckler. I thought a lot about why does Eckler care to have somebody else take other carries from him? The thing you have to remember, too, is he wants to stay healthy. And he knows if he's carrying the ball 20, 25 times a game, that's a lot of damage on your body, right? And again, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And I think that's really what Isaiah Spiller is really good at as well, too. So, it will be interesting to see what happens. I personally think Spiller will be our number 2 out of camp, just because I think they're so high on him. Dude, the guy can do it all. He's bigger. Yeah. He could catch the ball out of the backfield, and he does change things up from Austin Eckler as well too. I still say this. I think we could have 2 running back sets. Think of it, you got Isaiah, and you got Austin Eckler. Well, who do I cover? I mean, that's an immediate matchup problem out of the backfield, which is amazing.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting situation there too. And when I was watching Isaiah Spiller and his highlights at Texas A&M. And I was actually looking at what his line ranking was in college football, and he was middle of the pack in all of college football.
Yeah.
And he was a productive back there, right? So you got to say where he's coming from now to the NFL to a fantastic O-line. I'm going to say top 10 O-line. I mean, we weren't far off last year, even with kind of a right tackle situation and losing Ode Abushi and everything too, and kind of finding guys to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
I mean, he could produce really well, and I love the way he runs. He's a patient runner, hits the hole when he sees it. He has a great knack for wanting to run in between the lines. So he wants to run into the O-line, right into the heart of the defense. And he's got good speed, not excellent speed, but he definitely could make a lot of missed tackles, which to me, I think that's a phenomenal trait for us. Because the thing is about Joshua Kelly and Roundtree, and when watching them, I always feel like they just hey, this is the play, run to the right, right between the right guard and the center or whatnot. And they just kind of just run into that position, and they don't think hey, be a little patient, wait for the play to develop in front of you.
Exactly correct. Yeah.
And so Isaiah Spiller, I think, could be a fantastic addition. I'm going to claim Isaiah Spiller and Austin Eckler, the Thunder and Lightning crew, basically.
There you go.
Thunder and Lightning.
So,
I like it.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Spiller being the Thunder because he's a little bit bigger guy.
Yeah.
Eckler being the Lightning, and he's a very elusive guy.
Point too. about Spiller. Spiller didn't have a good line in college, right? Think of how good it will be. Obviously, college to NFL, it's a big step up anyways, but he's going to have a great line opening gaps for him. So, I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. I think there's nothing but amazingness coming out of that.
All right.
Yep. So,
That's
so
great.
we want to move on to.
Yeah, so let's move
Go
on.
ahead.
I think it's I think quarterback we're pretty much. We don't really need to talk about that too much. Yeah.
Herbert's going to win MVP. We got Swolbert.
Right. Yeah,
we got Swolbert.
Swolbert MVP over here.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, see, James Richards is asking us about defense, but we're going to talk about offense a little bit first. To kind of get things going through. We'll get to your questions in a little bit on that one. So.
Yeah, we definitely are ready for those questions.
Yeah.
You know the one thing though, and I just want to say about the quarterback too. I mean, and once again, Herbert's one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and I think he's going to make the MVP obviously this year, and I think he's got a fantastic run. And what's going to be required for him to get the MVP is probably win the division. Yep. And so, if he wins the division, he's our man. I mean, Chase Daniels, he's a good second. I mean, obviously he's not Herbert. Easton Stick, I've been a big fan of him since he's been drafted. He I remember in a lot of preseason games, he's actually had some pretty phenomenal plays, and I think he has a good ability to be a very manageable quarterback. And that's one of those positions about Easton Stick that he could potentially even be to a practice squad. I don't know if it's based upon his length of his contract that he could go to the practice squad or if he goes to waivers, if they shift around. But that's, once again, that's the conundrum this team's going to be dealing with. 53-man roster, really, to boil down to where these guys are going to be at. It's going to be a stacked team, and it's going to be they're going to be making a lot of hard decisions. So,
I mean, honestly, whenever Easton Stick is on the field, I actually do get a little bit more excited, especially.
He's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like Chase Daniel, he doesn't really stay out there. He likes to be the sideline guy.
He's okay coaching. He's okay coaching.
Yeah. I think that's what he likes to do. Yeah.
Yep.
But Easton Stick is out there. He likes to. He likes to win. I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty sure, though. I think last year too, he was put in the practice squad, though.
Sure. Yeah, he was.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I mean, we know it's Herbert is our guy. Chase Daniels is kind of really the coach, and I think Herbert said that he liked Chase Daniels to be able to ask him questions instead of the coach sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's kind of, you don't want to sound like a dummy asking a coach every time, but Chase is kind of like a pseudo coach for the team, for the quarterback crew. So
yeah, I think you're
which
right.
is pretty nice. So let's move on to the wide receivers. We all know who we got, and once again, the order that we're going to present here, and once again, this is kind of based upon the article talking about the projected 53-man roster. And so, obviously, you got your Keenan Allen, your Williams, and I really feel Josh Palmer is going to be the third guy, and then Guyton will be the 4, and then DeAndre Carter will be the 5th. So, that's where I feel it's going to be. I think Palmer is really going to step it up. I mean, Allen and Williams have been saying a lot of good things about Josh in his second year, and so I think that he's really refined his game. But I've been hearing great things about Guyton too. I mean, Staley's been talking a lot about him also. So
and I did a short little video about breakout players, and I picked Palmer and Guyton to be good breakout players this year. Okay. And I think one of the things that I think a lot that's going to be said about these guys specifically is they want to sit Allen and Williams, right? The one thing about Brandon Staley that I've noticed, he's okay letting people take breathers. Okay, take a breather this rep. And I think there's going to be a lot of junk yardage because I think we're going to start blowing some teams away this year because our defense is going to be a lot better. So I think Palmer and Guyton and Carter will probably get some more play time. But that would also say that I think Allen and Williams probably will have down years. But they're only down years because they're getting less reps, and they're trying to make sure that they're going to be healthy for the playoff run. Make no mistake about it, guys. If we don't make the playoffs, oh my gosh! I mean, we're talking absolute disappointment.
I'll fill this cup up full of a bleach, and then drink it live. All right.
That's it. Gotta go. That's it. We're done.
Goodbye, cruel world. R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly. No, but again, it just goes to show you again, there's so much depth. I mean, you're not missing much with Palmer, and Guyton is just a speedster, right? He's going to be the guy going downfield, 65-yard bombs. Dude, and DeAndre Carter, I think he could do well. I think he's going to do a lot of jet sweeps. They'll probably use him kind of like a Debo Samuels type of guy. I think there's going to be some good things. Honestly, I would put that wide receiving core up against just about anybody. I really would. I think they're that good. They're that good.
Yeah.
Well, and once again, going back to if Herbert's going to win the MVP, there's all these wide receivers are going to be able to eat.
Yeah.
And they're going to get their touchdowns. They're going to get their targets. I mean, I do think that there is a level that I think we might have a little bit of a decline for, like, say, for instance, Williams or whatnot, just because it's going to be spread a little bit wider. And so even to say, I mean, going into the tight ends, if we want to segue into the tight ends and talk about them, I mean,
yep, let's do it.
You got Gerald Everett, who I think is going to be phenomenal.
Yep.
And we all know, like, Donald Parham did his thing too, and Trey McKitty started coming on a little bit too later on.
I mean, he did.
Yep. Absolutely.
So Herbert's going to have plenty of targets to work with here. And he's going to be able to really spread this ball out really well. And I mean, once again, if we start getting 2 running back sets with a tight end with 3 wideouts or whatnot, I mean, I don't even know if that's a correct number to be able to have 11 man on the field. But the thing is, though, like, he's going to have targets everywhere. And I'm excited to be able to see how this all works out. Because, I mean, I'm still sticking to it. Herbert's going to have over 40 touchdowns passing. He's going to have over 5,000 yards for sure. I probably imagine with rushing for him, he'll probably end up having, say, another 5 touchdowns. So he'll have about roughly 45 total touchdowns.
Which is crazy. It's crazy.
And I'm expecting under 10 interceptions too. That's where I think it's going to be at. Once again, I can't wait for the season. We're a month away from the training camp, so let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah, a lot of people talked about Cook and, like, why we let Cook go. He led our team in drop passes.
Yep.
And they were crucial dropped passes. And so I think the team looked at that. And again, Allen was right up there with drop passes as well too. He had quite a few. Of course, he had almost more targets than just about anybody.
Yeah.
But my point is, look, drop passes are not good because it could be a deflection, goes up in the air, it gets picked. Those are all things that can affect the play, right? So I think Gerald Everett's a definite step up from Cook. And then Parham, we just know what he can do. The guy's tall. He's an absolute mismatch. There's nobody can cover the guy. Again, one last thought, and then we'll move on. I know, Kyle, you probably want to jump in here too. The mismatches that they put together out there. I mean, think about that. You got Allen, Williams, Eckler, and then let's say you put Everett and Parham out there. Who are you going to cover? You can't double cover anybody.
Yeah.
But see, this is why I think Palmer and Guyton will have good years, because you cannot double cover these players anymore. You have to cover them man to man, essentially. And there's going to be gaps in the NFL. There's going to be gaps. Yep. We all know what old Gus Bradley plays for. It's cover 3 every time, 80% of the time. And again, his defense is predictable. We would know what would work well to score points. Again, we're not going to have a problem scoring points. What the Chargers have problems with right now is stopping the other team.
Yes.
And luckily we address that. So we're going to be addressing all those questions as well.
Yeah.
What's up, LAOG? How you doing?
Yeah.
What up?
Well, I was going to say this though too about jumping into the wide receivers though. I'm a little leery about Josh Palmer because he is on his 2nd year now.
Sure.
Because, hey man, that 2nd year slumping's a real thing. So
for sure.
You never know what the heck's gonna happen with that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, and then jumping into the tight ends, of course, Gerald Everett is definitely a step up from Jared Cook, unfortunately, because you're right, like Cook was kind of a liability for it. Did come out.
Was.
There are, of course, times that he actually came out and actually made big things happen. So, but I don't know. It's some of the missed opportunities outweighed the capitalized opportunity.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Cook kind of had his knock on him as a player for a really long time was that he had stone hands, and he basically would drop balls a lot, and we saw that. And critical times, I think there was one that was at 2-yard line. He dropped that pass. It was a total walk-in. basically just taking his eye off the ball and didn't do very well with it. So, I mean, I think Gerald Everett all around is a lot more yards after catch kind of guy.
Yeah, for real. He's a big dude. He's a big body.
Yeah.
Really big body.
Right.
He did a lot of jet sweeps. The one thing, so I know we led the league in drop passes, 38 drop passes. James just put in the thread. And I'll say this, but the funny thing is, I remember people talking about Justin Herbert not having touch on the ball, and he just guns it. I mean, that is a straight up missile coming at you. Yeah. But I like what Keenan Allen said. He said, you know what? We're all NFL wide receivers. We still got to catch them. I don't know what that doesn't matter, right? Yeah, it's coming at us fast, but it's also coming at us fast so the ball doesn't get intercepted. We're paid to catch the ball. And I loved his response. And it just goes to show you what a professional Keenan Allen is in general anyways. He's not throwing it back on anybody else. And he's just accepting his responsibility. Anyways, that's one of the things I would say, before we move on.
Yeah. And last point that I was going to make on that too is that, my concern about Swolbert becoming Swolbert is that, we don't want to have the same issue happen again, where it's like he's just throwing missiles at us and dropping the pass. Like if he's gotten stronger with his arm, I mean, that ball might be even a little bit faster. So my hopes is that there's going to be a little bit more of a patience with his throws, and obviously you don't want to take away the guy's skill set or anything like that. But my hopes is that receivers will be more ready with it. They'll have a lot more time with Herbert. They'll understand how then they can catch the dang balls and stop dropping the dang things. But Herbert with his big arm, I mean, and bigger arm than last year. I mean, I hope he just doesn't have a faster fastball now.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
So.
Yep.
Let's talk O-line.
O-line.
Yes.
O-line.
I mean, we all know everybody's the right tackle battle going into this.
That's right.
That's what everybody's talking about. Right tackle. Who's the right tackle?
The right tackle. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
And really, to be honest, like our middle to left side is like completely set. Like, and I don't anticipate Filer going to the right tackle. I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll be fine. So you got obviously Slater, Filer, Corey Lindsley. Zion Johnson is pretty much a lock on right guard, in my opinion.
Mount Zion. That's Mount Zion, son.
Mount Zion.
That's right. Yep.
And then, it's the big battle between Norton and Pipkins. I believe somebody in the chat was chatting about.
Yeah, James.
I think Richard. It was James Richard was talking about.
Yeah, he's
Pipkins being right tackle, right?
Yep. So I think that's a very fair observation. I feel like he totally could take it away from Norton. But let's see. I mean, I'd like to see it though. But I'll be perfectly honest. I'm kind of in the camp that Storm Norton is not all that bad. Like let's be honest. Like even if he did mess up a little bit on that Raiders game quite a bit. But guys, we still had the 5th overall offense in the entire league. So even with Storm there, like in his first game with the Raiders, he did all right, against Max Crosby.
Max Crosby.
Yeah. But he wasn't able to really make things happen at the last game, the bigger game to actually make happen though. So there's a pressure thing there. Maybe that was more of it. Maybe the pressure got to him. He got too much of it to his head or something like that. And he's probably in a better shape on now though. But at the end of the day too, it's like okay. I'd be happy that if Pipkins or Norton is there. I'm fine with it.
Yep. Yeah. I think Pipkins is the guy. Again, he was a first-round pick, which was small school. He's got a body. He's been working with Rashawn Slater in the offseason. I think he's going to be our guy. And look, here's the thing. He's looking more the part now. And you remember this last year when Rashawn Slater went down? Guess who stepped up? I was terrified. I'm like, oh my God, Pipkins is coming in. The best part, I remember when they were putting him in, the media just kept blasting Brandon Staley. Can he do it? I mean, we think he's a clown. He sucks. Like, why are you letting him actually be a player on the field? And he goes, what did Brandon Staley say? He said, hey, he's our guy. He's going to be fine. He played the left side, and then he played the right side when Storm was out with COVID. And he did a great job. Yeah. So I think he's probably the guy but think of how much depth we have. Again, we've said the word depth to death at this point.
Yeah.
We still got Hymas. Hymas has looked awesome.
Yeah.
And when are we going to put him out there? We got Will Clapp. He's still great. Salyer is great.
Yep.
Dude, we have. I just think the cool thing. Look, we all know injuries happen. We all know that happens. So not having depth hurts you so much in the long run. So you never know how the season's going to play out. But you know what? Let's say Trey does start. Storm Norton's not a bad backup, right?
Yep.
Or we could throw in Jamari, right? You never know. Maybe he's the guy. Maybe he steps up.
Yeah.
But no, it's exciting. I think our line is going to be absolutely fantastic this year, and we're gonna dominate.
Yeah.
We're gonna dominate, and we have to in our division. Look at all the pass rushers we have out there in our division alone.
Yeah,
it's going to be crazy. So
you know, and the thing that's interesting about the O-line too, and I anticipate going into the preseason games that a lot of our starters are not going to play. Like, so you're probably going to say Slater's not going to play, Filer's not going to play, Lindsley's not going to play. It's going to be basically, you know, Zion will probably play, Norton, Pipkins, Hymas, Salyer, and Clapp, and those are going to be our starting lines going into those preseason games, because really we don't want to have injuries. Once again, I think the one thing I loved about Brandon Staley, he did a great job of protecting players.
Yes.
And we did come into that game, in the Raiders game, as a pretty healthy game, or a healthy team, and probably the most healthiest I think we've been in decades, it seems like.
Yep.
And you know, it's going to be just fun. That's the one thing that's going to be interesting about the preseason, is that it's going to be a lot of those guys trying to make their position and solidify their position of whatever, you know, position they play. So it'll be fun to watch that too. You said you had something too, Kyle, right?
No, I was just
that you're good.
reading some of these, some of the chat here.
Okay.
Yeah, so obviously, like, Pipkins was actually a 3rd round pick. You said 1st round pick. That's wrong. So yeah, but it's all good.
3rd round.
Yeah, 3rd round.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who basically wasn't even ready for somebody to call him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, he was just driving around town.
That's right, he was. Yeah, that's right. He's like, oh, what? Someone's calling me?
Oh,
Chargers are calling me. Weird.
Wait, oh, this is weird. Like, I guess there is. Right? That's pretty funny.
But the thing that's cool to hear, though, is that Pipkins, and he's getting a lot of praise from Slater, saying, like, hey, man, like, he's looking great. His body's filling out, you know, and once again, it took a couple years to be able to get there. I mean, some of these guys, even like Salyer, could be one of those guys that could take a little bit of time to be able to fill his body out, or basically get involved in the system, too. So it just took time for Pipkins to be there. And I've been on the Pipkins trains for a while. And my opinion, though, and I know we chatted about, Andy and I and Kyle, we chatted about why don't they rotate players in sometimes?
Right.
Like, and I get it.
I think it's a consistency issue, right?
Yeah.
They want to keep, but to your point, I think you brought it up, Kyle, on our chat threads that we were talking about, like why didn't they put Pipkins in there and give Storm a breath during the Raiders game, right? That made more sense, because you could clearly see he was getting burned. Just put Pipkins out there. Give another person a shot, right? Why not? Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
And we got a couple other questions here right now too. So
I know we're pretty much done with offense.
Yeah.
So if there's any offense questions, let's get over those.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. So
cool.
Aether, he was saying that guilty as charged claims that if Matt Filer from the left guard position, the right tackle position, needs to be paid more. And he's wondering if that's true, you know. And I actually think that is true, because I mean,
right tackle's a big position.
It's a big position. It's a completely different from being a guard to that. I mean, especially going from the left side to the right side, the move all different, you know. And obviously, like, actually, in a lot of ways though too, is like, I don't know, because like I said before, like the right tackle is not as critical
as the left tackle.
Yeah. Because it's the blind side. The quarterbacks doesn't see them coming from that typically. So, but I think it would give him a boost. It's kind of like, you know,
sure.
And say in like a TV world, you know, for my career, like say you're a background actor, and the director likes your look or whatever like that, and then the director talks to you. you get a pay boost because the director talked to you, typically.
Yep.
And it's like then obviously, if you're or whatever, have like a one line or something like that, you're no longer a background actor, you're a bit part now. So
a bit part.
You're gonna get paid more now. So so I would imagine that that the pay scale for Filer would jump if he had to.
Yeah, and that's an interesting conversation point there, because think about just left tackle in general, right? How much money is Rashawn Slater going to want off of his rookie contract? Dude,
it's gonna be big.
I honestly, they should probably sign him soon, because
extend him. Yeah.
I mean, dude, first year he's a Pro Bowler as a rookie. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That's unheard of. So as a left tackle, yeesh. So that's a big money conversation. Of course, obviously when we talk about defense, getting Derwin James re-signed and all that stuff, we need to talk about that as well too. But having said that, my point is that you're right. It is going to cost more money on the right tackle side. So they're fighting it out for that paycheck. That's what they're fighting out for right now. For sure.
Yeah.
And with the whole Matt Filer shifting from left guard to right tackle, thing is, Filer played phenomenal with the Steelers.
Yeah, he did.
Right
oh my God. Yeah,
he did excellent as that position. Now, and I'm looking at it as there's this continuity level that I think that Brandon Staley wants to keep, and he would like to be able to keep that as where it is. And I think we have enough talent to be able to find a good right tackle too, anyways. And I think we have guys on our team that could be great right tackles too.
Yeah.
And even just to look at Matt Filer's current contract, he signed a 3-year contract with us for $21 million. He gets $5.5 million base salary with basically a $2 million signing bonus that he's going to get this year. So $7.5 million is what he's getting as a left guard. And then next year, $6.5 million with another $2 million signing bonus for an $8.5 million. So is there an extension in if he goes to the right tackle position? I don't think it'll happen this year if he does go to the right tackle, because he's getting paid pretty well. $7.5 million isn't a bad payday for a guy like that, and then 8.5 next year. So I think Filer's more an emergency situation, in my opinion, if that's gonna happen.
Agreed. So some major injuries start happening, then there'll be some moving around. But look, I love, guys, I mean, again, we beat a dead horse here. The depth here is amazing on every position. It just looks incredible. I mean, we're going to score points. We're going to feed. We're going to feast. It's going to really boil down to how are we going to stop the other teams, right? So maybe we should go into some of these questions on the defensive side, guys, as well. And again, keep throwing your questions out on the thread as well too. I know. Let's scroll back and go through some of these other questions here.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, I know. I had James Richard had some questions too.
Yeah, there we go. I got him right
backfield.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for the defense. Actually, before we move on to that.
Yeah, D-backs.
Yeah, Aether, he actually called you guys out too before we.
Ooh.
One last thing, he's like, hey, so he said that you guys both picked the Niners to beat us.
I did. Yeah.
And apparently the spread there is 24 right now.
What?
Oh,
are you serious?
So
wow. Hey, I would love to be wrong. To be wrong. Trust me, I would love to be wrong. I would be.
Right?
Well, I'll take that, because I know we kind of are a little unsure about it with that one. Because I mean, the thing is though, the Niners have a really good running game generally. Right. I mean, they have guys that are no-namers usually going in the backfield and getting 100+ yards a game. And with Trey Lance, who knows it's going to be, or it's going to be Garoppolo. I don't know. What to make of that team. But, man, when you see a spread like that, that makes you think the Niners are not going to win a dang game all year,
Yeah, that's a ridiculous spread.
I think, honestly, that the spread is that much because there's a lot of uncertainty behind the quarterback.
Sure.
Agreed. That's a good point. Yeah, so, again, we talk about Trey Lance. I can't remember, because I'm not sold on the guy yet. I think he's all right.
Yeah.
But I'm also not sold on Jimmy Garoppolo, old Jimmy G spot. I still think he's way overpaid. I mean, he's overpaid, even just like what's that guy with the guy liner? Oh, Derek Carr. Carr. The guy liner guy. Man, I can't believe he's getting paid that much money.
Liners.
That's the funny thing too. Derek
looking
Carr,
like Chris Angel, dude, down in Vegas.
This reminded me too. I saw something too. Apparently, Derek Carr, his first contract was $125 million, 5 years.
Yeah, which is crazy.
At that point, and then keep in mind, he has still not won a single playoff game. So,
No.
and, like, it
No.
just makes no sense that they're so hyped on this guy. You know, just like, dude,
Yeah.
whatever. Let's just move on to the defense. Let's get in there.
Yeah.
James,
Let's go.
James Richard had some thoughts first. He wanted to know what he thought our defense formation is going to look like.
Yeah.
He's curious how many linebackers we want to keep. Going to make the defensive backfield, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
sure.
Let's talk about the defensive strategy. So actually on Chargers Weekly this week, they kind of briefly chatted about that. And they were talking about, I think it's going to be one linebacker, one inside linebacker on the field. Yep. And it's going to be, 5-5 from that point. So 5-man line, 5 backfields, defensive backs, one linebacker.
Or is it 6? No, that's right. No, 5-1-5.
No, it's 11.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
I could count. I went to school.
I can't.
I got a degree. You know.
Hey, it could even be 5-6. You know.
I can count.
We just got our 2 edge rushers, and then we don't have anyone in the middle at all. You know, and then we'll have safeties. You know, or the back. You know. So.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind again what they ideally wanted also with Derwin James. They wanted Derwin James to play star. What star is essentially he can just go wherever the hell he wants on the field.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're mashing up the line, right? Again, Brandon Staley's defense just clogged the lines. Each lineman has a gap and a half, right? You cover a gap and a half. Just bust up the lines. Do not give them a gap so they can run the ball.
Right.
And keep them contained. But then they want him to throw the ball because then we have guys that can catch the ball and get turnovers, right? But if Derwin James was at the line closest to the ball,
right,
dude, he's like a linebacker. I mean, that's what they wanted to really use him as. And but he's faster than a linebacker, and he can strip the ball. Getting him the ability to just do whatever he needs to do on the field. Don't forget, he wears the green dot, so he's the one covering the entire defense.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the quarterback. So I think getting him in star and letting him do his thing, huge. It's going to be huge.
Massive.
So, but I think a 5-1-5 makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think that's really what he's going to do.
Me too.
Yep.
I think it makes a ton of sense. And the thing about it is like, go back as a reference to the 2018 Ravens-Chargers playoff game. Now, that was a Gus Bradley game. Remind you, or Gus Bradley defense, excuse me. But basically what he did is he just put safeties in the box, and he had maybe a linebacker every now and then, but it was just a lot of speed in the box. And what did that do? That really confused Lamar Jackson that entire game, and we beat him up pretty hard. Yeah. Like there was fumbles, sacks. It was like an amazing game. And so that's a good reference game. So go back and watch the highlights of that if you could look at that 2018 Ravens-Chargers playoff game.
That game was so sick. That was probably the only game I liked Gus Bradley as our defensive coordinator.
Only game.
Other than that,
game.
Other than that, I'm like, I hated this guy. I want to rip his head off his body.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, dude, like that game, I was like, yo. But here's the thing, though. That's the defense we're going to run this year. We're going to clog the line, fat boys on the line, shut them down, and then have people stealing the balls in the backfield. That's exactly what we're going to be doing the entire time.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And I guess to even make it even, if we go on like a 5-1-5 defense, now it sounds really odd to even say that.
Right.
That's where shifting of basically the inside linebackers and guys that could get cut potentially in that position.
Yep.
So
exactly correct.
And so you got obviously Kenneth Murray and Tranquil are pretty much locks, and Troy Reeder. So those are your guys. But then you got to put out, was it Amen?
Ogbonnia,
whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ogbonnia. Yeah.
It's Ogbonia.
Ogbonia, but then we got Nick Nieman, but Nick Nieman was a really good special teamers for us last year, so he'll probably still be on the team just for special team alone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Nick Nieman was another guy that got drafted by Staley too, and I thought he was solid.
Yep. Yeah, he did great.
That's where like these things are like, all right, so if Nick Nieman's not on the squad, which they listed him not on the squad, but they know that he's going to have that value to be added to the special teams. All right, now which one's better at special teams? Because that's where it's going to break down to, in my opinion. Who's going to make the team is if they could basically be a good position of whatever they play, and then also can they add to the special teams? And that's where I think that Nick Nieman should be on this team, in my opinion. But these are where these tough adjustments are going to be with this team. There's too much talent all around.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, obviously depth. That's the word of the day. Depth.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Tons of depth.
You know, I don't know, man. I mean, well, Nick Nieman, isn't he part of the linebacker?
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Inside.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. We got too much. Because honestly, with our scheme, I think we have too many inside linebackers. There's going to be some heavy cuts at that position because of the way Staley's defense is set up.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know, but he will get a place to play if we do cut him quick. Yes. I mean, I think he's a fantastic player. In fact, I really enjoyed him out there. But you know, but Nick Nieman, man, I think Nieman will stay. I think it'll be Murray, Tranquil, Reeder, and probably Nieman. That'd be my prediction on the linebacker side for sure.
I agree.
Agree. Well, didn't we just draft another linebacker? No, we didn't. We didn't get any.
No, we didn't.
Did not.
Oh no, I was thinking of Tito.
Yeah, he's a defensive line. But I know we could probably talk about the defensive backs. I know that was one of the questions there.
Yes.
Look, here's the thing. We're going to go heavy defensive backs this year. As we already discussed, I think we're going to have – so we're going to play man-to-man. J.C. Jackson's going to be man-to-man. I think we're going to be doing a lot of man coverage this year. And, again, we're going to have the two high safety, right? Because Woods will probably be out there. But then also look at oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Jalen Guyton. Who's the other guy that Brandon Staley said that was really good? That's having a great preseason.
I know Keemon Hall is one guy they've chatted about.
Hall. Oh my God. Elodie Gilman.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Gilman. Gilman apparently is really stepping up. A lot of people are thinking he's going to have a breakout year. And again, when we start talking about star. Right? Derwin James is our safety, but you could bring him up on the line and he could be disruptive or maybe just single cover. Let's say we're playing the Chiefs. Yeah. He'll just cover Kelsey. He'll cover Kelsey. If Kelsey's out there, great. He's going to just man up on Kelsey. But you got Woods and maybe Elodie Gilman in the back there just covering the top. Forget about it. They're not going to have a deep pass, right? And so, again, the one guy, though, I do think we may let go is Trayvon Campbell. He was so bad last year in so many different situations. They may keep him for depth, but I think Jasir Taylor will probably take his job. That's my take on that. I think a lot of people are talking about Jasir Taylor being an extreme, just freak of nature athlete. So I think he's probably going to take his spot on the 5th or 6th position.
Yeah.
But I think he'll make the squad and Trayvon might be backup at best at this point.
The one other name that's interesting, and I know he's listed as a free safety in our defense, but Mark Webb was a name that kept getting thrown out a little bit too, who was another Georgia boy from last year that we drafted.
Yeah.
And so he's an interesting guy and he's going to be a guy I'm going to watch in the preseason because they kind of have a little bit of hype that he's saying that he's getting in really good condition. He seems like he's going to be kind of a guy that Brandon Staley's really keying on, and seems like he really wants him to be able to pan out in this team. So Mark Webb's another guy to keep an eye on too that could find his way on the squad somewhere or another because he could even potentially get behind Trey Marshall's another guy that's a free safety listed. He could potentially get into that third slot too now. So it's such, and once again, it's going to be such a hard situation getting down to 53 with this team.
Yes.
It's such a hard time. So that's another guy you got to think about too. But I mean, for the most part, our cornerbacks are going to be cornerbacks, meaning as in J.C. Jackson, Samuel, Bryce Callahan, Michael Davis, and then it's whoever's the fifth at that point.
Jasir Taylor probably over Campbell. I'd just rather give him a chance over letting Campbell go out again. Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of speed going on there, and once again, it was an interesting article that came up talking about players that might have a decrease in their stat production, and they said J.C. Jackson's going to be one of those guys. And why would they say that? Well, it's because they're probably not going to throw to J.C. Jackson.
They will not throw to him.
Pick on everybody else.
Yep. That's exactly right. No. I mean, think about that. I would rather throw to Michael Davis over J.C. Jackson any day of the week. 100%. Or Asante Samuel, or hey, if Trayvon Campbell's out there, whoever the hell's on him, I'm throwing the ball to that guy. That's my
which
number
happened
one.
all last year. If number 20 was on the field, they're like, pin him,
20,
pin him, pin him.
Go for him.
That's right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime that he was on the field, they're throwing it that way. You know, there's actually another cornerback that we picked up that was undrafted, Brandon Sebastian. So it's possible that if he steps up, he might be able to take over. Get Campbell's spot. So I would like to see that. No.
The thing is, though, once again, we're saying it very repetitively, but at the same side, like, we have so much talent on this team, it's going to make every player better and step up their game and elevate their game.
Exactly, 100%.
And
100%.
you know, iron sharpens iron pretty much in this situation, and so these undrafted guys could just come up out of nowhere. I mean, Michael Davis was one of those guys. Austin Eckler was one of those guys. J.C. Jackson was one of those guys. Like, so these guys could just get a lot more talent. I mean, when you got like players like, I mean, Mack and Bosa and Van Noy, and like then in your backfield, J.C. Jackson, Samuel, like guys that are really, really established players that have done well. Derwin James, like you start thinking of all the talent around you, and you're like, man, I got to elevate myself to be a better player. I got to find my way on this team somewhere or another. Or if I don't make this team, well, okay, maybe I'll make an impression on some other team, kind of thing. So
exactly.
Who knows, man? I mean, it's crazy.
I was
to
thinking
think
about this today too. The amount of depth we have. If I'm a Texans, if I'm one of these teams that are just absolutely just getting crushed, like a Jets or whatever, I'm picking up every person I can get from the Chargers off that gets cut, 100%. Because
agreed.
They're all very good players, but we're that stacked across the board. We can't keep everybody, right? It just is what it is. That's one thing I really like about football in general anyways, though, is you can't just stack your team. It's not like baseball. Baseball, you can just stack your roster and just always get a playoff spot. Look at the Dodgers, Yankees every year.
Yeah.
But with football, you can't do that. You have a salary cap. I know people say it's a myth, and it really kind of is. But at the end of the day, you still can't keep players, right? I mean, look at what the Chiefs have to deal with now because they're paying so much money to Mahomes. They couldn't keep Tyreek Hill. There's no way they could keep him. And so it brings up interesting questions moving forward for sure. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Interesting little thought. I know who was talking about we were talking about Davis here in the chat. He went from James said he went from a CB1 to a CB4. Yeah, there's even a chance he might be a depth guy, which is crazy because he's getting paid, $7 million a year?
Something like that.
But he's a guy that I think could get traded. I mean, you think about it, I could see that happening. We have enough depth that I could see them saying, hey, let's just get rid of that $7 million cap. If someone takes that money, we could trade him off for maybe a 5th or 6th round pick and go from there. I could see that happening. And actually, cornerbacks, who's the guy that we drafted from Ole Miss? They were talking, I'm just drawing a blank on his name. If you guys remember, a lot of people were saying he did very well in camps as well. He played very, very well. So that's another guy we need to probably put down on that list as well, too. I'm just drawing a blank on his name for the life of me.
And the thing about it is like, I just don't want to let Michael Davis go. And the reason why I say that is because
I like him a lot too.
The thing is, though, you put somebody in like Trayvon Campbell in that position and as a CB4, unless just Sir Taylor could really step up. Or once again, if one of our draft picks could kind of come in here and actually, really be able to fill in that CB4 position for us. It's just a hard thing for me to do. But yes, the salary is the one thing that you kind of think, I don't know, man. I think it was Dean Leonard who you're
Dean Leonard, that's it.
Too.
Yep. I was just going to say that. I didn't want to interrupt you.
People were in the chat. They were talking about him as well. They were talking pretty high about him.
Yeah, I think he could be a guy that could step up and be our dude, man. I really, because here's the thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Michael Davis. I like Michael Davis. And again, I know about his background. Undrafted, went to BYU. He was sat down his senior season at BYU because he thought, hey, you know what? I'm a senior. I'm going to play.
Yep.
And Bronco Mendenhall, the coach of the BYU, did not want that. He's like, no, you're not going to play. You're not trying hard enough. Yep. And he had to fight his way back onto a team. And so the thing that I think the problem with Michael Davis, though, with Staley's offense, or excuse me, defense. Why am I saying offense? Defense. you have to know how to read and react quickly, right? It's not just about covering your guy. It's what if it's a running play and, you've got to go to the middle and there's a lot of moving parts across the board. It's not just covering the person in front of you. It's understanding situationally where you're at in the field. And I think that's been his knock a little bit from last year. But I will say this, though, because there's so much depth, the cream is going to rise to the top on all these positions, guys. Yeah. And if Michael Davis wants it, it's his position to lose, right? Yeah. He's already the guy, right? Yeah. He was already our guy last year. So anyways, it'll be interesting to see how he responds. I guess that's the best way of saying it. How is he going to show up in training camp this year? And is he really going to step up and be that QB1 again? Well, you obviously won't be QB1, but, QB3, the main guy out there, right? Is he going to take over Bryce Callahan's spot or whatnot, right? So anyways, I'm excited to see that battle.
Yeah.
But, and the one thing too about Bryce Callahan though too, he's kind of an injury prone kind of guy.
He is.
Lots of talent, but injury prone. So that's where it's like I get scared to think like, man, if we moved on from Michael Davis, there's a chance that in the NFL, there's a 100% chance you're going to get injured at some level.
At some point, yeah.
Some point you're going to get injured. And even to say injury is one thing, rolled ankle, whatever it is, something, jacked up shoulder, hence like Derwin James all of a sudden has surgeries on his shoulders, which ironically, Jalen Ramsey just had surgery on his shoulders. He was playing with 2 jacked up shoulders last year too. So, and guess what? He still won a Super Bowl and played all year. So it's kind of odd to think that surgeries blown out shoulders are still able to be, out there on the field and running around and did what Derwin James and Jalen Ramsey did last year.
Yeah.
Got it. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. I did see a question by LAOG, and he's talking about what's our thoughts about this defense being a top 3 defense, and I 100% feel that's 100%. A great stand.
Yeah, 100%.
Easy.
I thought in my mind, and I almost every single year I play fantasy football, and I always low key always choose the Chargers because I think this is going to be the year. This is the year where they're going to be a number 1 defense. And,
it.
And they just don't pan out. But the thing is, though, this year has so much talent that this is definitely a great shot at being a top 3 defense. And once again, I thought, man, wouldn't that be cool to be able to do a Bolt Bros fantasy league too?
I think we should do that too.
Awesome.
I think
that sounds like a good idea. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Just let us know.
Yeah,
we would love to be able to do something like that. That'd be awesome.
That'd be a lot of fun. So maybe we should move on to safeties now. I know we talk about Derwin, Nas Adderley, obviously Aloy Gilman, and then JT Woods. It's going to be interesting to see. I think they will carry 4 safeties this year for sure. What they want again last season, they wanted Derwin James to run star, but they couldn't do it. They didn't have the personnel for it. What was it? Chris Harris got hurt very early on in the season. They wanted him to really be safety for a while there because he's a big body and he can move really well. But if you could get Nas Aloy Gilman and JT Woods to be our safeties and let Derwin just run amok on the field, forget about it. That is absolutely nuts because Derwin James was hurt all last season, right? He had a torn meniscus all last season, but he still played.
Yeah.
And that guy's just a freak of nature. So again, it's the conversation we had with Eckler, right? Allowing Derwin to move around, but are we losing anything up top, right? Can JT Woods catch balls? Can Gilman step it up? Where's Adderley going to be this next year? Yeah. I think that's really what it's going to boil down to, right? So.
Yeah, and the thing is though, and Brandon Staley, well actually I think it was either Charger Podcast talking a little bit about it, that they're basically going to put JT Woods out there in the backfield and let Derwin be that guy in the middle. And that's going to be exciting, and I'm actually really excited about JT Woods. I think personally, I maybe I'm a weirdo for thinking this, but I think Nas Adderley's a good player. I don't think he's really panned out as where he got drafted so far. I think he's good, but I don't know if he's gotten to that level yet. His first year obviously was injured. Second year he did okay. Last year he did okay. But I feel like there's kind of a level that I'm kind of a little unsure about the guy. And I think if JT Woods could really pan out, because there's some side that I look at JT Woods that he's kind of a weird, another version of Derwin James, a tall, lanky guy.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature, man. Yeah, and a ball.
And so, personally, I'm interested to see where this goes with JT Woods and where he gets positioned here too. And Alohi Gilman, too, has been talked a lot about, but at the same side, like Lohi wasn't drafted by Staley too, and I'm always thinking in my head, the coach that's in wants his guys that he wanted in, and so he's thinking, man, JT could come in there and just make a splash and start really pushing a little bit more towards Nas's position. And I don't know, on the first day that JT Woods came in after he signed his contract, which, hallelujah, we got all of our rookies under contract.
Yep, all of them under contract now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know, I think you're right, though. I mean, Nas is the guy that if there's going to be a safety that's going to be out, it's going to be him. But I have heard that he's being talked really highly of right now. I could have sworn like I just saw something that he's stepping up and he's doing a really good job right now. Of course, it's all on paper right now, you know?
All paper.
It is.
We're a paper team.
We're a paper team right now.
Paper team. That's what Big Mac said. We're a paper team. That's all we is.
That's right. But you know what? And that's the thing too. Is like Austin Eckler just said that recently. He was like, you know what? I mean, we sound really good on paper right now, but that's totally different than playing on the field. So we gotta
100%.
get that. We gotta see how that pans out when we actually play on the field, because that's how real things are actually found out.
Well, Super Bowls are won in June. They're not won in July, you know, and it's all looks great right now. And I think the thing is, though, it's interesting. I think it was CBS 8 San Diego that was interviewing during media day a lot of the Charger players, and all of them pretty much had the same thought, that it's like, hey, look, we're just a paper team right now.
Yeah.
We know what we have in front of us, but at the same side, we're not allowing it to make us feel like we could come into this season cocky, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We still have to go out there and do the job and do it well. And we know what could be in front of us, but we still have to go out and do the work. And so I like hearing that mentality as a team, because, I mean, this is very exciting for the Chargers fans to go out there and see a team this loaded for once. And with this ability, in my opinion, still it's AFC championship game or bust for this team. And so, once again, I think we just got to get out there and get it done. So let's just make sure we stay healthy in week 1 and all the way to week 18, all the way to 20-0 season. Right. We're healthy all the way.
Let's do it. 20-0. Yeah.
So, but for the safety position, there could be a little bit of adjustments there. There could be a little bit of changes there. I mean, Mark Webb is one of those guys that kind of gets his name thrown out there every now and then. So we'll see where that kind of leads. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows where that goes? I know we didn't chat about the D-line, too, so...
we need to talk about that, yeah.
Those are the blockbuster boys, you know?
Oh, the big boys, all butt and gut, dude. All butt and gut, boys.
Thighs and buys all day long, baby.
Well, and the thing that's crazy about that blockbuster boys, and when they were saying that, I was like, what do they mean? Like the video store or something like that? Like, that's... And I was like... Oh, blockbuster boys. The guys
I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, okay.
Plus the blocker in front of them. Yeah, got it. Okay. Took a while to figure that out. I don't know. But, you know, the thing that's cool, so you got obviously Sebastian Joseph Day is kind of the leader of the line. And it's been fun to watch his videos, and I think he was mic'd up or whatnot for one of the Chargers videos, and he just seems like a guy that really just unites the team, and he gets every player involved. Like when Morgan Fox was there stretching or whatever, and basically he got him, I think it was recently signed after Morgan came on board. Like he's like, oh man, hey Morgan, I didn't see you over there. Let's go hang out. Like, and he just wanted to stretch next to him, make him feel a part of the team. Yeah. Sebastian's like joking with everybody. Like, I'm excited to see him on this field, because even last year before he got injured, he was having a career year. Like he was one of his best years ever. Got injured, still won a Super Bowl under the Rams. So that's kind of nice for him. But, you know, you got Austin Johnson there, Tillery, Fox, Fehoko, Tito over there too. And these two they listed. But where's Covington at in this thing too? Like, there has to be a shift to be able to get him on there too. So
and then Gaziano too.
Gaziano, and that's been another name out there. So that's another position that's, gosh, like, where are we going? And then I know somebody was asking in the chat too about Sue.
Yeah.
Now, my thing that I've always thought about with Sue is he goes where the money goes.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
That's all he cares about.
That's all he cares about. I mean,
yeah, he's got a championship already, you know, so he's like, all right, well, I just want to get paid now to do this.
Right.
See, and again, because I know, was it Mia Kimes? She's a babe too. So I mean, Mina Kimes, right? You know, and she was talking about she was pitching Sue to go to the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
And you could kind of tell he was okay with that idea, but I think he knows he's not going to get paid as much money at the Chargers. He would get paid more money if he went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so there's been talk that he might go to the Raiders as well, which would be really interesting.
Right.
Because the Raiders just spend money stupidly all the time. They just blow money left and right. Sure. Like, it just doesn't matter.
Right. And the thing about it is like Sue is a very reliable, durable body. And I mean, he's 35 going into the season, I believe. I mean, in last season, his PFF was actually pretty low as a player, but he still did get 6 sacks.
Yeah.
I mean, a big body on the line like that can't be moved is always really good on a line. But my whole thoughts is that I don't think Sue's coming here because I don't think we have enough position for him. Now, I did throw out just the idea, and once again, going back to he goes where they pay him, basically. And so he, in that same exact vein, when Mina Kimes was asking about go to the Chargers, he said, you know, I don't like the taxes there in California.
Yeah, he made a comment. Yeah, I remember that.
So, I mean, he's like Money Manziel over here.
Yeah.
I'm saying, no, give me that money.
Money Manziel, dude.
Yeah, pay me the money. So where states that don't tax as heavily, and I think it's state taxes that they don't charge, is Florida, Nevada, Tennessee, Texas, and Washington. So you got to think of all those teams that he could potentially go to.
Yeah.
I think it's a good chance that he would probably go to the Raiders. I could see him in Tennessee, too, with the Titans. I can see that. Yep. But I did kind of throw an idea out there that if we look at the D-line and say, okay, Jerry Tillery's kind of been that guy on the cusp that we're like, I mean, he was getting blown up. I mean, what do we call him? Speed Bump? Is that what his nickname was?
That's
Speed Bump, dude.
For us, yeah.
He just like lays down. Oh, you had to jump over me, idiot.
That's right.
So Speed Bump gets traded, and I will say, if hypothetically, if he gets traded, he's going where Gus Bradley goes, which is the Colts.
Yeah.
So he'll get traded there. That'll give a $3 million savings. You could sign Sue to a $6 million, say, fully guaranteed contract, just as a hypothetical thing.
Yeah.
Got that cap space to do that. So really, in the end, we're only signing him for $3 million in a sense. So I don't know. I don't think it's really going to happen. But there's a lot of things in this offseason that have been pretty wild. But that's just kind of my thoughts. But I mean, for the most part, our D-line's pretty solid where it's at, in my opinion. And there's a lot of guys that could shift in and out, and could be some kind of odd cuts there too. So I mean, like Fehoko is one of those guys that I keep thinking about, that he had a great rating against the run last season.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Samoan homie, that thick body dude, and he just could push people around, dude.
Eating that poi, dude. Eating that poi. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Eating that poi. Getting it. And then you got Tito, man. I think Tito's going to be good, man. I mean, you know, and Gaziano and Covington did well. I mean, guys, again, we say the word depth so many times over and over again. It's just, we got depth everywhere. I think Morgan Fox will do really well, too. I think he will be a very good player. So, you know, it's funny, man. You know, again, people keep talking about it in the chat that, boy, it'd be really interesting to see how it's going to break down on these cuts, because these are going to be hard cuts. Right? These are not going to be easy cuts. And I guarantee when these cuts happen, we're going to be like, wow, I'm kind of shocked that happened. And I'm surprised we're letting this person go, and so on and so forth. So it will be interesting to see for sure.
It'll be an interesting situation. But going on to the outside linebackers, you got your Mac and Joey Bosa. So you got Mac and Bosa. Kyle Van Noy seems to be kind of positioned as an outside guy linebacker at the moment. Hearing great things about Chris Rump. I think, Andy, you were saying that Bosa kept calling him Beanstick or something, or Beanpole or something like that, or whatever.
Beanpole, because he was super thin.
But he's starting to kind of thicken up from what I'm hearing too. So he's starting to get better and everything there too. Amike Mbule, I think is how you say his last name.
Yeah, Mbule. Yep.
And then Jamal Davis is one of those guys that I think Kyle's been pretty high on too.
Yep.
Jamal Davis,
in that position.
I've like really liked seeing him a lot. Like, he posts a lot of like footage of him on Instagram a lot of his film reels and stuff. Dude, he penetrates through that line really good, and like I'm like he really has a good chance making the team. I feel getting that starter position. Well, not like a first position. He could take over Rumph or Egbule, like easily. But also in the same regard too is like I don't know if I know Kyle Van Noy, like a lot of people think that he's going to go to the end, but I think he actually might put him on the inside because he actually has a really good pass covering. So he may actually be like the leader of that whole position. Give that some veterans, then that could be when Jamal Davis actually goes in as
well. Yep.
Yeah, I think they'll move Kyle Van Noy around a lot. I think he's going to wear a lot of different hats just because I could see maybe, Bosa taking a series off or, maybe even, Khalil Mack taking a series off. Okay, we'll put, all right, then, KVN, get in there and do some pass rushing and, we'll see how you do. I think they're going to move him around. He's a versatile player. I think that's really what he'll be doing a lot. And it'll be a game plan decision as well, too, right? Who are they playing against? What do they need him for? I think that's what they'll do with KVN.
Yep.
He's kind of like the Swiss Army knife in the linebacker core, in my opinion.
For sure. And it was interesting. Herb just asked a question about what do you think, and I think somebody else asked the question too and put some crazy stats out there about the amount of sacks Bosa and Mack are going to get, and the picks that are going to happen. I mean, I don't even know what those predictions are going to be because
I'd say 10 each. 10 each.
Yeah.
I think that's
so around 20. I think 20 total for the season is what I think. Now, the mixture could be a little bit different, but I think 20. 20 makes sense to me.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me.
10's like a base in my opinion for those guys.
But again, like how do you stop them, right? You can again Joey Bosa was double and triple teamed last year all year.
Yeah.
They all knew stop Joey Bosa. They can't do that now.
No.
They cannot do that now.
Nope.
And so, dude, they're going to feast, man. And that's why Joey Bosa showed up to OTAs. He hasn't showed up in OTAs in forever. Mm-hmm. And he's so excited for the season. So, and you could tell he's excited. You could also tell he was sad that certain people are not here anymore, Linville Joseph and a few of the other folks. Yeah. You know, that was the very humanistic aspect of everything. He was like, I'm sad they're not here. They can't enjoy this with us. And that's true, right? Because you get a bond with your players that you're playing with. But I think he also recognizes they have a better team now.
Yeah.
To do more in the playoffs in every game, right? And making things better and easier to get wins.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and for picks too, like J.C. Jackson, somebody said in there about 5, I think is LAOG for J.C. Jackson. I feel that's about right. And he's going to have a pick 6 too, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I could totally see that happening. Somebody said something about JT Woods too, having like 3. I think it might have been kind of a funny post, but I think it said 3 picks with 3 to the house, basically.
Right.
So 3 picks, 3 to the house. I'll take that all day. I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
Hell yes. I want that.
I think we'll probably have at least like 3 team total pick 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about like 3 for one player. That'd be nuts. That'd be amazing. But I definitely see J.C. Jackson getting like about 5 picks, whatever, because definitely not 9, because the caliber of the quarterbacks that we have in the AFC West are much higher than over the AFC East. So because the only good quarterback in the AFC East right now is Josh Allen. So like the rest are just like okay, cool, whatever, But So I think that's kind of what we're gonna see out of J.C. Jackson. About 5 picks, team totals. We'll probably get maybe 2 other picks from other players here and there. So
Yeah, I mean, like Derwin, I'm hoping that he'll actually, because he missed a lot of picks last year too, and I think it was a little bit after his shoulder was jacked up. So I mean, obviously raising your shoulders or raising your arms, it's hard to be able to put it fully up and not feel some sort of pain in your shoulder. Yes. So, if he's healthy, I think he's gonna have a phenomenal year this year. He'll be Pro Bowl once again, in my opinion. And I mean, you got to throw in Asante Samuel, which if he could be like his dad, which always was kind of a pest in the backfield. Asante Samuel Sr. was awesome for the Patriots, and I loved watching him.
Yeah.
And then you throw on Bryce Callahan too as another guy out there.
Right.
And the thing is, though, this defense could be so special as a defense because there's such a strong front end of this defense and a strong back end. And the thing is, though, the middle of the field is going to be ran by basically Derwin, and then you're going to have some speedsters in the middle too that could just create chaos all around. And I always go back to Bobby Ross and his quote. He says, "You win the game at the lines, basically. You win and lose at the line."
Exactly. Yep.
We got a great O-line. We got a great D-line. Like, now we got backfield that could basically create chaos. Well, I should say a defensive line that could create chaos because, I mean, no offensive line wants to say, wow, now I have to deal with basically Mack on one side and Bosa on the other side too. And then you got basically a mean middle front there that could penetrate to get through too. So,
yeah.
And then even to say if Derwin James comes blitzing in or even a quarter blitz comes in, dude, how do you protect this stuff, dude? Like, it's going to be chaotic. And the guy liner, Derek Carr, game one, is going to get sacked like 10 times game one.
Oh, my gosh.
That?
Yes.
I want to see him get dry humped all over the field, dude. Just dry humped. Just
freaking
absolutely just devastated. Oh, God.
It's going to be Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack are going to be like Hulk to Loki from Avengers. He's just going to get tossed around on the ground, you know?
Oh, my God. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that.
That'd be so great.
Yeah, I mean, just nothing. I don't want to see him do anything correctly. I want to see his helmet askew and like the grass all over his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're a lawn dart, sucker.
Well, it's a home game though, so he's not gonna have grass in there because it's an
that's true.
turf.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
true.
So he's gonna be eating rubber, all that turf, all
Eat my rubber.
Eat
That's
my rubber.
Oh my God.
That National Lampoons, I believe. Eat my rubber.
Yeah.
Eat my rubber.
Yeah,
oh
so
my God,
I don't know. This defense could be so amazing to watch, and I can't wait. Like, maybe how about we throw out a bold prediction for this team for offense and defense? Let's say we get back to that 14-2 season, and we're number one defense, number one offense again this season. Bold prediction. There you go. We're going all the way. Number one for both cats.
We're definitely top 5 in both. I think we're gonna be top 5 in both. And again, it's largely because Brandon. Here's the thing. You see what the Rams did with Brandon Staley's defense, right? They're obviously running his defense, but they have the talent on that side to run that defense effectively. And I think now you have the talent on the defensive side to actually run a defense as good as they have over there for the Rams. So again, we already have a top 5 offense. I would argue we'll probably have a top 5 defense. And then now if we could just get our special teams to be top 10-ish, boy, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Statistically, we will be in the playoffs and we will have a Super Bowl run, right? It's really going to boil down to our defense this year, 100%. We are going to score, but we need our defense to step up and make stops. That's what we need.
Yes, absolutely.
And just to talk about the special teams too. I mean, and the thing I've always kind of thought about this. Vizcaino last season, how many shanked kicks that he had where they were just off. I could have made those attempts, I should say.
Yeah.
They were just flying all over the place. And I think the thing about Staley did in solidifying with Dustin Hopkins, I mean, an established veteran that gets the job done. J.K. Scott, same thing. Josh Harris, long snapper, gets the job done. Like, it's about having those established guys in those positions. And what makes the special teams work are the guys in front of him to make sure they make those blocks that don't get a block kick, block punt, whatever it might be, or block punt is, block punt is possible. But, just having those guys in the right position to be able to make that system work. And I do think that we're pretty solid in that position too. I think we have good established guys. I don't think we have any guys that are there to be able to really make any sort of, push any of those guys out. But that is a critical part of this team too. So I think top 10 seems pretty good in my opinion for special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, who knows if we're just gonna keep going for it on fourth down anyways? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna happen so much this year, because I mean, last year, like, it may have happened because our special teams was not that good,
and our defense was so bad,
and our defense was not getting it. So it's like, well, let's just go for it, So, but I was gonna say this though too is like, I mean, I think our offense is gonna stay about top 5 or whatever, but our defense and special teams doesn't need to be top 5. I say top 10. Heck, even like the top 10, maybe a little bit less than. We're solid. We're good. You don't need to have the best of everything in order to be the team. I mean, look at the Bills. They were last year. They were the top 5 on everything. And they
were.
And they dropped the ball in the playoffs. So, and because, the team that wanted it more ended up winning. So,
right. Yeah, and honestly, it's so funny. I always see this Herbert and Joe Burrow discussion, who's a better quarterback, and I'm like, is that even a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like I just don't see Joe Burrow. He's got good players around him, and those players are making him look good. Of course, he did have a terrible offensive line. He was sacked a ton last year.
Yeah.
Terrible. So I have to give him that he really is a good quarterback for the line that he has.
Yeah.
But man, just the things that Justin Herbert can do compared to Joe Burrow. Come on, man. A 65-yard bomb against the Giants like that? Are you kidding me? You don't see that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They're not in the same camp in my opinion, but it's interesting argument with him. So should we talk about special teams? I know, we could probably go into that a little bit, kind of wrap up with that.
May as well. Let's wrap up with that. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I mean, we chatted a little bit about it. I mean, it's the thing about it is it's like there's really probably not a whole heck of a lot to really chat about. I think we just got good, solid, established guys there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really about the other guys that could be on the team that are in the outside linebacker, cornerback, whatever it might be, that could just make sure they go out downfield, be at the right position to be able to block the guy catching the punt. And, hopefully they're going to be a guy that actually can make some plays on blocking a punt to be able to get a fumble or whatever it is or whatnot. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough one to be able to kind of really know where we're going to be at with that. But that's where those guys that will make the 53 are the guys that make a difference on special teams.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally their goal. Find a way to be able to get on the team through the special teams. And I think that's kind of where these guys like Jasir Taylor needs to be able to make his stamp. Maybe even JT Woods.
Yes.
JT Woods,
another guy too.
100%. Yeah.
So that's where it's going to be the deciding factor. And this is going to be such a difficult task for them to figure out this 53.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be tough. And again, when we talk about making that 53, a big part of that is special teams, right? Because you got to wear 2 hats if you're going to make this squad at this point, right? Okay, great. Well, you know what? You're our running back 4, right? You're Kelly or whoever, Roundtree, but you're going to play special teams as well, right?
Yep.
So that's really what's going to round out the 53-man roster for sure. But boy, I'm just so excited. Every time I watch a video about the Chargers, I just get more and more excited, and I just think there's just the skies are the limit, man. I mean, I think it's our Super Bowl to lose this year, guys. I'll say it that way. It is truly our Super Bowl to lose. I think we have all the talent, and I know we say this every year, but this year is different, right? We have so much more talent across the board, especially on the defensive side. Man, if we don't even at least make the Super Bowl, it will be a disappointment to me. I mean, I will be drinking a bottle of bleach with you on air as well too, Kyle.
Let's go.
So it'll be one Bolt Pro left because I won't be drinking a gallon of bleach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I was going to say one thing, and we were chatting a little bit about will Staley be going for it on 4th downs? And so let's say this. Let's say our defense, well, I'll go actually to last year. There was a lot of times that we went for it that were kind of questionable 4th down choices. And what did the defense still do? For some reason, they figured out how to stop the dang ball, and then they gave up nothing or basically gave up just a field goal. I understand 3 points is still 3 points. I get it. But let's say this defense is so rock solid that we could be like, we'll go for it on 4th down every time because you can't go on our defense. Our defense is going to crush you every single time.
Can't run.
So,
yeah,
you can't run.
Can't
can't pass.
Can't do anything.
No fly
So,
zone.
Can't run, can't pass.
Yeah, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So, like, let's just keep going for it on 4th down, and just see what happens. Like,
point, yeah.
Well, and that's a good point because you're keeping their defense out there as well too, and they're going to get more gas, and then they're just going to be weaker in the 4th quarter anyways, right?
Yeah.
All gas, no breaks.
Right.
Or you know what? That I should put that on my dating profile, right? Or maybe it's all ass, no breaks. Maybe that's what it is.
You're dumb.
No, it's Herbs. It's like Herb says. There's bolt up, don't punt.
There you go.
That's right. I'm telling you. Yeah, go for it, man. I mean,
go for it. Who cares? I mean, going back to back in San Diego Chargers days, the 2007 season, 2006 season, or whatnot. I remember the chants in the stadium was "You can't run," just like what Kyle was saying.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be a swagger to this defense that I'm gonna love to see. That they're gonna play somewhat a little bit more like, I'm not trying to say cocky, but extremely confident as a defense. That we're gonna make it hard on you, and we're gonna play at such a high level that I think that, heck, I mean, maybe we're gonna start playing it exactly like Madden. Never basically punt the ball.
Yeah.
Always go for 4th. And always go for 2-point conversions every single time. Like,
but you think about it though, you got Justin Herbert, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, right? Who cares? Let him go out there and get his reps and do his thing, right? And especially at the beginning of the game, right? You can be aggressive at the beginning of the game. You got plenty of time to make up for it later on in the game as well too. And so I could see them doing that a lot this year as well too. But I think he'll probably be a little more conservative. But he doesn't have to be though, right? I think if we're that balanced a team, of course maybe going for it on our own 30 might not be a good idea moving forward, but 50-yard line, why not? Right? 50-yard line, no big deal.
Yep. And that's where I wish and kind of hoped that the Chargers ended up going after Matt Araiza. I mean, once again, if we did go for it and say we're on the 20-yard line, their 20-yard line, I should say. I mean, we could boot the ball 60 plus yards or whatever it is to be able to kind of put it to a deeper position for them. Yeah. So it puts us in a better position all around for our defense to potentially get a sack, fumble into the end zone or whatever it is. So there's like these things that you kind of think about that I wish Matt Araiza came on the Chargers, and his hang time is ridiculous too. Right. So that helps out the special teams even better.
Absolutely.
But we got our team and we got our guys. I mean, I'm interested to see where that leads for that 4th down calls this season.
Yeah, well, J.K. Scott's a better punter than Long. Yes. Long really was struggling last year. He did not do well. He had this weird, like, slow wind up. Yeah. And I was like, man, dude, like, kick the damn ball, dude. Yeah. Like, what is going on? And
that's why he constantly got blocked. He constantly got hit in some way. He's just moving too slow.
So I like what LAOG said. Remember, Kyle, we talked about this when we were in Maui. He said we want Staley, Mr. Big Balls. We might have to get a shirt out there. That we were talking about Staley with the big balls from South Park or whatever. Oh my God! Yeah. Actually, we do need to get some more merch on that site as well too. Yes. So we need to probably start doing some more merch type stuff.
Shirts for sure.
We definitely need to get Swolbert out there as well too. That would be a good one. Yeah. Swolbert, dude.
We should get Blockbuster Boys too.
Blockbuster Boys. I like that. Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Yeah. Put the defensive line pictures of their heads and just put Blockbuster Boys.
Oh, no, there you go. I like that.
That would be great.
We're gonna
that'd be fantastic.
I'm gonna put them all in Blockbuster uniforms.
So. Oh, there we go. There you go.
Dude, how sick would that be? We could send a T-shirt to them too, to all the Blockbuster Boys.
There you go.
So they all walk around with a Blockbuster Boys T-shirt.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Hilarious.
That 3XLs though, dude. Those would be like 3XLs, man.
Yeah,
big size, big boys.
Yep.
Beefy.
Well,
I think that's
I guess for the most part, we're pretty much good on talking about the team. I know we chatted a little bit about training camp. Training camp's about a month away. Check it out. There's a full schedule online too. I think there's even some night practices too. So I think it's kind of a first come first serve situation to be able to go there.
Yeah.
So you can get tickets to reserve if you're traveling into the city. That's not a bad idea to do that. I think there's going to be some scrimmages between, I think, the Cowboys, I believe, too.
Yeah, we play the Cowboys, yeah.
That's Cowboys before the preseason game.
Yep. And I always think
we should plan a trip out there, James, and go watch that. It's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of fun being down there for sure. So, I won't pull my hamstring before we do the whole
don't be pulling no hammies this time for the Madden tryouts,
The Madden tryouts, that was horrible. It was embarrassing. Oh my God. Couldn't believe that happened. Oh man.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bolt bro down. Bolt bro down.
I'm on the beach. Oh my God. What did I do to my hamstrings? That was terrible.
Tell my mama I love her.
Tell my mama. Go on without me.
Yeah, right. Any last thoughts to just kind of wrap it up, guys? I don't know. I know we have a couple different people kind of just chatting in the chat and everything like that. But James, Richard, we got to beat the Raiders week 1. My opinion is going to be my last thought on this. Week 1, we need to beat the Raiders. Week 2, we need to beat the Chiefs because that's key. And I think James brought it up. We need to be 4-2 in the division to be able to win the division. Yeah. And I 100% feel that's the case. So those first 2 weeks are major for us. Major for the team.
Yeah. And
I think it's totally doable. So that's my last thought. Kyle, what do you got?
My last thought is, hey man, join us for Mission Bay. You guys are joining us late. You guys missed the announcement early on, but we got an event going on. It's not our event. It's Thunder Alley. They're doing a tailgate event over with Swoop and D out in Mission Bay, July 10th, starting at 11 a.m. There's going to be a DJ there. There's going to be games. There's food. There's going to be drinks. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a good time. It doesn't matter if you're in California or not. Just come on out, man. Have a good time with us. I know it's going to be after 4th of July, essentially, weekend, so people might need, still be hung over from that or whatever. But so that's a good event. But then also, going into the training camp, July 30th, there's also going to be a tailgate as well. That's going to be right in the parking lot over there before training camp. And training camp also starts at 8 a.m. So that tailgate situation will start way early, I suppose. And we'll all just have a good time, man. As Chargers fans, let's bolt up and let's do this, man. Let's get charged up for the season,
Andy over here writing some funny stuff in the chats over here.
Yeah, he is.
We're gonna donkey punch them hoes, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's your
last? We gotta get some more emojis in the little chat here too. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
What's your last thoughts to wrap it up, Andy?
Yeah. No, look. We've said this so many times. Depth, guys. We have. Last year is a great example of the defense not being pushed. Michael Davis is a great example. He was a QB, cornerback 1. He wasn't pushed. He was pretty much the guy, and there was no other option. Chris Harris came in, but he got injured pretty quick. We don't have that luxury now. Every one of these people on that list is fighting for a job. There's not one person on that list. Great example. We look at Trayvon Campbell. We didn't have a choice. All right, go for it. See what you can do. We don't have that problem anymore this year, right? We have so much depth across the board. To me, that is so exciting because I always hate, you're never going to get the best out of someone if there's not somebody behind them pushing them to some degree, right? Because then they just get out there and just do their thing and that's it, right? They're not being motivated. This is going to motivate absolutely everybody on that list to be better and be the best version of themselves, right? So I look at Guyton, I look at Palmer, and man, think of the opportunity these guys have to create a career for them in the NFL. Are you one of the best quarterbacks in the league throwing them the ball? Man, the season can't get here fast enough, man. I'm so hyped. I'm not joking. I watch all these YouTube videos over and over again. I'm addicted, but I don't care. I want to keep watching it, man. So I'm excited. I've never been more excited for off season my whole life.
Right.
So
very much.
Glad to share with you guys as well.
Yep. And like I said, it's always us when we started this podcast, we love to be able to engage with the fans. And so far, this offseason's been really, really enjoyable. It's definitely the most enjoyable offseason I've ever had. And it really helps with all the moves that they made too. I mean, this is an unparalleled, like, I've never seen an offseason like this with the Chargers. And so we're all excited. I hope we're hyping you guys up for the season. We're a month away from training camp opening up. I can't wait. God. So I hope that we could go to the training camp and be there with you guys and at least see you guys, engage you guys. And maybe we'll have some T-shirts by that time, and we'll have Blockbuster Boys T-shirt. How about Guyliner T-shirt? Like, right?
The Guyliner.
Oh, we could have a Patrick Mahomes T-shirt where it's him as Kermit the Frog because he sounds like Kermit the Frog when he talks too. I don't know if you guys get that vibe. I think the same, but
no, man, it's gonna be him swimming.
Hey, he got crazy ass wife though. That's for damn sure. And his brother's a bunch of nut jobs, dude.
Nah, he's just gonna be swimming around in ketchup because he loves ketchup on steaks.
Oh yeah,
so much.
He loves Whataburger too? Yeah, that's right.
Whataburger.
Yeah. But I guess we'll just end it on that note, guys. Love hanging out with you guys. Love engaging with you guys.
Yeah.
And we will talk soon, and we'll have another video, and we'll keep doing them live, I think, from this point on. So we'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Yeah. Right.
But, guys, Bolt Bros, we are out of here. See you guys.
See you guys.